City Manager Matthew Morton asked Palm Bay Council Wednesday night for what he called a huge hand of public trust.
$2.4 million. No competitive bidding. Write the check. Start work in the morning.
At last night's meeting, Council approved that emergency wastewater package after Morton admitted the city violated its state permit last year.
They rezoned Centerpoint Church land 4-1 on a second try.
Tabled 2 school resource officer agreements 3-2 to force a negotiation with Brevard Public Schools.
Continued the 1,200-acre Everlands West project to May 7th.
And granted 2 residential variances, both to homeowners stuck in a permitting maze.
Every one of those items moves real money or real policy. Here's how.
The money finishes the South Regional Water Reclamation Facility. Council put Cathcart Construction on a 45-day push.
45 days does not finish the plant. It gets it to accepting flows off the overstressed North Regional facility before June rains arrive.
North Regional is permitted for 5.2 million gallons a day. In October, it treated over 5.4. That breach is why Morton was asking.
And if the city waits, regulatory action, more spills, a moratorium on new water meters. In a city approving homes almost every meeting, a meter freeze is a freeze on growth.
About $900,000 left on the old R.J. Sullivan contract, up to $1.5 million in new authorization on top, time and materials.
Wharton Smith advises weekly. Meeks Plumbing and Razorback fill the trades. The surety assigned Kubota, the membrane bioreactor maker, directly to the city.
R.J. Sullivan was the original contractor, awarded November 2020. The city terminated them roughly 45 days ago. The Palm Bear is first to publish that.
The warning was on record a year ago. The city's own engineering consultant named mismanagement as a root cause.
Mayor Rob Medina was pointed. We've been waiting on this for years, literally. I felt that this was an emergency long before.
Deputy Mayor Mike Jaffe called for termination in January. 3 months later, the city did it.
The paper trail is ugly. May 2024, a vehicle strikes a valve on Claremont. 790,000 gallons of raw sewage.
6 days later, a separate 13,000-gallon leak.
April 2025, a pump failure. Almost 70,000 gallons.
FDEP issued a consent order in March 2025. Proposed penalty, $34,000. Palm Bay swapped it for $54,000 in nitrogen removal equipment.
Then, the big one, June 2025. A 20-inch force main fails near Claremont. 3.19 million gallons released. 1.19 million reached the environment.
The pipe was 37 years old on an 80 to 100-year design life. Cathcart was the emergency contractor, paid about $1.12 million, no bid.
9 months on, FDEP has issued no successor consent order for that spill or for October's capacity breach. The city told reporters in September it expected only modest fines. That answer is aging.
Florida Administrative Code 62-600.405 sets the thresholds.
At 50% of permitted capacity, the city owes FDEP a capacity analysis inside 180 days. If capacity maxes within 4 years, an engineer has to certify expansion. Palm Bay let the original contract in 2020. That timeline is 6 years in the rearview.
Hammer asked a question hanging over the room.
How did the city pass utility guidelines for new development tonight if we are at peak stress?
Bowden said capacity at permit signing reflects current conditions. New developments come on further down the road.
Hammer drew a line. Smart growth, not more stress. The emergency authorization passed with no recorded objection.
Council also approved a rezoning that came back on a second try. Centerpoint Church, 10 acres north of Emerald Road Southeast, 4-1.
The same parcel was denied in September for a denser category. Tonight's version is single-family, 8,000 square foot minimum lots, up to 41 homes. Pastor Tom Walker has led the congregation 20 years. He told council the church needs the sale proceeds for a new sanctuary and expanded youth ministry.
Here is the leverage. Florida's Live Local Act, amended last session, forces cities to permit multifamily housing on religious institution land at the highest density within a mile. Attorney Kim Rosenko told council it was a may. It is now a shall.
Pastor Steve Petty said a developer had already introduced him to the Yes in God's Backyard plan and helped 2 other Brevard churches build under it.
Translation: approve this rezoning, or the church builds apartments without coming back.
Testimony ran both ways. Homeowner Shawnee Winnett said it was not about what Palm Bay needs, it's about squeezing the highest possible return out of a piece of land they'd always planned to sell. Frequent speaker Bill Batten urged council to hold rural residential.
Hammer was the lone no. His reason was school concurrency data he called 18 months old.
Rosenko conceded an updated concurrency report would be required at the subdivision and site plan stage. She defended the existing report at rezoning.
Langevin called the RS1 version a great compromise. Medina walked away from his 1-acre lot principle because 41 estate lots on that parcel was not realistic.
First reading passed. Second reading is ahead. Hammer's call for an updated concurrency report first is on the table.
Council pulled 2 consent items for separate debate: SRO agreements with Brevard Public Schools and Odyssey Charter, covering 14 schools, both tabled to the second May meeting, 3-2.
The fight is about money the district is not paying. Morton confirmed reimbursement covers about 40% of the city's actual cost per officer.
Jaffe was direct. The state mandates the school board supply an SRO. The board should fix its budget and pay the cities back at a much higher rate.
Councilman Chandler Langevin added the math. Palm Bay PD is per capita one of the lowest staffed departments in Florida. 4 officers in county schools could be on city streets.
Hammer drew on his school years. As a student with an SRO, the officer was not just security. The officer was someone a kid went to when something was wrong at home.
Johnson moved to table instead of denying outright. If the city says no, the school board calls Sheriff Wayne Ivey and bypasses Palm Bay altogether.
Johnson committed to call school board members John Thomas and Caddy Campbell the next day. The agreement takes effect July 1st regardless. Council has 6 weeks.
Council voted 3-2 to continue Everlands West to May 7th.
The largest single development application in Palm Bay history, 1,200 acres, 1,600 single-family homes, 145,000 square feet of commercial. The footprint is comparable to the entire city of Indian Harbor Beach. At full build-out in 2037, the applicant projects $11.5 million in tax revenue, $4 million to the city.
Medina wanted the first meeting in July, citing the June recess and review time. Jaffe moved for May 7th. Johnson seconded. Motion passed. 2 variance grants closed the policy docket.
McFarland on Evergreen Street Northeast, screen room replacement. She inherited an unpermitted enclosure and spent nearly a year working through permitting.
Council approved 5-0, refunded her $500 variance fee, and waived the building permit fee. Medina apologized on the record.
Williams on Toy Street, oversized pole barn and shed built without a permit. The applicant said they did not know permits were required for an open-air structure. Approved.
Council also passed the Local Housing Assistance Plan, 4-1, Langevin the lone no, and a Coastal Management Amendment aligning with the County Emergency Plan, unanimous.
On proclamations, Brevard County is at about 86 licensed foster homes, serving 600 children, the lowest count the program director has seen.
3 threads carry forward.
The South Regional Emergency. If Palm Bay accepts flows by early June, Morton's gamble pays off. If the timeline slips, the meter moratorium becomes a real conversation.
The SRO negotiation. The school board has to come to the table by the second May meeting or risk losing Palm Bay PD coverage.
And the center point, second reading. Hammer wants an updated school concurrency report first. Whether the rest of council backs him decides if second reading stays on schedule.
The meeting ran more than 4 hours. The underlying issue in Palm Bay is capacity at the wastewater plant, in the police department, in the schools.
The meeting did not solve any of those problems. It bought time on each one. If this is your first time with us, subscribe. There's more coming.
Read the full article at thepalmbear.com.
This is the Palm Bear.